Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is A Woman's Prerogative. I'm coming to you from the United States, back in the US of A, after traveling to Europe for almost a month. And my special full-time panelist and very good friend who is joining me will be joining from Australia. Yes, so tonight we're going to be talking about things are not always what they seem. And sometimes we go into judgment mode about something, and then we miss out on so many things about that person's journey or the evolution of how something was developed or created. So let's welcome MARISKA Dupria, who, as I mentioned, is joining us from Australia. And she is a leadership and transformation coach. She's an expert when it comes to teams. She just did her own Talking Heads expert presentation right before this. So if you happen to miss it, go over to our YouTube channels. We have two. They are USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. The USA Global TV and Radio is has earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award for over 100,000 subscribers. So thank you very much. And welcome to our new audience joining us from mobile devices. So MARISKA, please do come out and say hello. How are you?
Hello, and very happy to be back, and show number 2 for me today.
That's right. Show number 2 for you. You just came off of another one, which is hard to do. And that's another thing. Things are not always what they seem. People who haven't done it before have no idea how much work it is to be on television. It takes a lot of work and dedication and time. And it's always nice when we have positive feedback from people, and we appreciate people watching. We're not so thrilled with people who have negative comments and nothing better to do. So keep your negative comments to yourself if you have them. So MARISKA, please do share with our audience, for people joining us for the first time, how is it that you work with teams and you work with leaders, you work with organizations and individuals? Tell us a lot about that, because you are a certified coach, whereas many people are not.
Thank you, Dr. JACALYN. So first off, yes, I am ICF certified. And as a coach, that is really important, because we do not have a regulatory body as yet that governs coaching. So ensuring that you have some form of evaluation system in order to ensure that whichever coach it is that you just decide to go with has a standard and a ethical code that they comply to as they go through the coaching, and also ensuring that your data is kept safe with AI. All sorts of interesting things are happening these days, so be wary and aware of it. So inform yourself on what is happening out there. Now, for me, myself, in my coaching practice, the way that I work is either with leaders, whether you are new leaders stepping into leadership or you are moving up within your leadership space, as well as with teams. So where we have a group of people that is working together towards a similar goal. That would typically be a team. Sometimes we just have a group of people that they can work together, but they may or may not have the same goal. And it may or may not be reliant on interacting with each other to attain the goal. So understanding whether we are a group or a team is also very helpful. And then in most work environments or most organizations, we will find that we have loads of different types of team collaborations and teamwork that happens. And that is where we are working with, hopefully, each other's strengths in order to get that goal attained. And leading a team, as well as being part of a team and functioning well, is what we will work on and work with during our time together, and ensuring that we bring a little bit more human centricness to that. I know in our wonderful world of AI, we are trying to ship out a lot of things outside of that. But you know what? The one thing you cannot ever give to AI is being a human. So being a human and interacting with other humans, that's your responsibility, and you cannot outsource it. Sorry. Which means you can always get hold of me so that me and you can work on that together in order to have optimal relationships in all environments, while also potentially interacting with our AI friends in the process. And that's how you can, well, who works with me? The how is down there at the bottom or up there at the screen's top, depending on which device you are using. You will notice my contact information, which is mariska@journey2discover.com. And you can also find me on LinkedIn. And for that, Dr. JACALYN, I feel like I have spoken way too much. Can we please jump into the topic?
Thank you very much. I think that was a great explanation. So I want to talk a little bit about our topic today, because I think things are not always what they seem. We can actually refer to this book that I wrote, Holy But Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment. And, especially on social media, people are very judgmental. And the thing that really gets me is the people who are the most judgmental are the ones who have the most work to do. Because those of us who work on ourselves, we know that we are not going to put something negative into the world. There are 3 key questions. Before you speak, before you put your nasty comments on social media, is it kind? Is it necessary? And is it true? And if it's not those 3 things, typically what happens is when someone does put something nasty into the universe or they make a judgment, karma is a biatch, as we know, and it comes back to get you and will find you where you are. So I thought it would be fun if we started off with some phrases and statements that I put into the book that are basically very judgmental, and we can actually look at it and say, okay, maybe things are not what they seem. How would that be?
That sounds like fun.
Okay, fantastic. So here I'm reading from page 88 in my book. So here's an example. If he were stronger, he wouldn't need medication. So in this case, we have someone that a person believes isn't strong, and they believe that there's some kind of equation between strength and medication. And in the meantime, they have no idea what's going on with this person. So they just make a statement. And in that judgment, they're basically being uneducated as to what's going on. They're missing the whole situation because they didn't bother to take the time to ask or to understand. Yeah. Or basically even to accept. We don't always have to ask questions to find out what's going on. And sometimes it's none of our business. We can just accept the way a situation is and just be grateful that we have an opportunity to engage with this person, for example.
Yeah. It also, to me, that statement shows more about the person that made the statement than the person that they made the statement about.
Yes.
Because we continuously profess, right? In that statement, that person is professing their own belief system. I believe you need to be strong in order not to take medication. Is that really true? I know a lot of strong people that needs medication of some sort. there's different types of strength.
That's true. And by the way, sometimes there's strength in knowing that it's okay to take medication because you've exhausted all other holistic opportunities, for example. But yet the question is, why is it that people are so judgmental? Why is it that people have nothing better to do than put negativity out in the world? And you and I both know, as being coaches, it's because they're unhappy with themselves in some way. As you mentioned, and I love this example, when you point to someone, there's 3 fingers and a thumb pointing back at you, because you, this person putting the negativity out in the world, you have something to work on in your life, and you can't see it because you're coming from lower vibrations, lower negative emotions, anger, maybe you're depressed, maybe you're jealous, envious. They're all negative emotions. And so I love the fact that on our network, we have so many positive people who are always working on themselves, and we're bringing together a community of people who are empowering the idea of finding peace. And in order to find peace, you can't be putting angry, negative things out into the world. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm thinking that if you do put angry, negative thoughts into the world, right, it's sort of the inner state that is showing up as an outer state. So what is actually happening for us internally that's causing us to want to put all of those things out into the world, especially on social media? For a lot of people, it feels like they are anonymized because they can comment without leaving their name, or they can make a profile that doesn't really show who they really are. Well, it still shows who you are because you know who you are. I don't have to know who you are. And it also doesn't show anything about my internal state, but it does show you a lot about your own internal state. So if you don't want to look into the mirror and see how you look, well, I can't help you there. I can also take it from who it comes from, right? If I am a lot more likely to take negative input or feedback from somebody that's willing to put their name below the feedback, because then I can help, then I can understand what it is that is really about. What is it that they perceive, or what impact am I making potentially that might have a negative consequence that I might not be aware of? Because we all, me included, have blind spots. We do. I don't know about you guys, but I can't see at the back of my head. It's physically not possible.
Absolutely. You know, something I wanted to share in alignment with what we're talking about today is, on the way back from one of my flights from Europe a couple days ago, I sat next to a physician, and we were talking about what he does and what I do. And I was sharing with him that I teach these courses on listening, and I've written these books. And he thought about it. He was a really good listener. And he said, the challenge is, and these are his words, by the way, most people are not capable of knowing that they have so much to learn, because they're so overcome by negativity or coming from a place of fear that the thought of teaching something like, for example, emotional intelligence, that's not something everyone can grasp, or elevated listening, that's not something everyone can grasp. And so this was good information for me, because for me, if I have a breakthrough from one person, it means a lot. But he was saying that most people are not capable of grasping some concepts because they have not worked on themselves. And even though you might share a story about something relative to them, they don't get it. They have no idea that you're even making an analogy that has to do with them, because they're so consumed with anger and being miserable.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of a visual that unfortunately I don't have with me. But if you were to imagine, right, a small little circle on a page, but a small one, almost the size of a dot. And then around that, there's a little bit of a bigger circle. And around that, there's a bigger circle. Now we are the dot. as we grow our own awareness, the dot size starts to increase because we become aware of more things about ourselves. And then we start to interact with that next circle that's around us, right? We get to be aware of our impact on other people, on other things, how they impact us. And as our awareness grows, it grows further and further out. And the thing is, because we are the little dot, especially, I mean, everybody starts there. Don't think that, oh yes, but this person never started. Everybody starts there. I want to be very clear about this. We all start as a little dot and grow our awareness. It's our work to grow the awareness piece. But if we are still in our little dot space, and for a very long time, really, we have a tendency to only be looking at that small little space that we are occupying. We don't really look further out. We have a tendency not to. Even when you think, oh, yes, but I'm thinking about how this person is influencing me, or how my friends see me, or how my parents think about me, or I want to please this person or that person. What you are trying to do is you are trying to put your little dot into their life or into their space, right? But you're not really creating any awareness for yourself necessarily, because what is it that you want? That's your awareness. What is it that's important to you? What values do you have? Yes, that's their thing. Whatever it is that they want you to do, that's their thing, not yours. So understanding our little dot is really important. And to your point, Dr. JACALYN, I and to the doctor's point, I think a lot of people get upset and angry and depressed and being in all of these lower vibration emotions, where it sort of anchors us into only look. It is almost like it's got you attached to the nose and it's pulling your view down, right? You can't get your head up far enough so you can actually expand your dot. So if you are in that space where you feel overwhelmed with emotion, it might be an indication that you need to do something different.
Absolutely. And we have no judgment about that. But, also along with this, it's interesting when you meet someone or you see someone's bio on LinkedIn and you surmise certain things because of their education or their experience, and then you have the opportunity to engage with them and they come across in a completely different way. And so it's kind of, things are not always the way they seem. What our title is today, you actually will get to experience what someone's like when you're meeting them if you pay attention, because as I've said many times, people will show you who they are. So even though they might have the titles and the credentials, put them in a situation where there's stress or things don't go their way and watch what happens. And so people who really truly walk the walk and talk the talk, they will want to find a way to work together. They'll find a way to want to talk about things as opposed to just shutting things down. And I think that that's also interesting when we think about the way people respond to basic things. Like, for example, social media. We're on social media today. There'll be people who are watching, who are really enjoying this, and there'll be people who just tune in just to be negative. And so what they don't understand is that we're here to provide education. That's what we do. We've been doing this for 4 years now. And so we're obviously fairly good at it because we're still here and still doing it, knock on wood. And so for those who want to take something away from it, that's terrific. And for those who don't, that's okay too. You can find a new place to play. But I think when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And then, as Mel Robbins says, let them be who they are. And we don't need to try to change anyone. We can just say, okay, this person is not a good person to have in my life or in my business or whatever the case is. What are your thoughts about what I'm sharing?
It, to me, sounds like accepting it for what it is. And there's a lot of times where I think especially when I think about what we miss when we judge is the whole thing we miss is accepting it for what it is. That's it. That's all we need to do, is we need to be in the here and now and accept it for what it is. It just is what it is. And that goes for humans too. Because as you mentioned, Dr. Jacalyn, they show us who they are by the words they speak, by the things they think about, by the interactions they have, right? And I'm not saying everybody gets up in the morning and they go, oh yeah, I want to be the worst person ever. I don't know a lot of people that would do that. They might be, I just don't know them, which is, thank goodness. And I don't even think that they think about the fact that they want to be the worst person on the planet. We all have our moments where we are the hero as well as the villain in our own story. And we need to decide what that hero or villain's characteristics would be. And for some people, they want to be a villain. By all means, go be a villain and let them, right? But you don't need to interact with it. You don't need to change them in some way, shape, or form. It's like, well, if that's what you want to be, it's fine. I don't want to be in that space, so I'm not going to be with you in that space. I always have choice and I can remove myself from it. So then I do that. And that goes for any interactions that we have. That goes for relationships. If there's a relationship that isn't serving you, for whatever reason, it's not serving you, you have a choice. You can move out of it. You can put boundaries up. That works for you. And that other person also has a choice. They can choose to either accept the boundaries that you have placed and then interact in that way, or not to. And then you can choose to remove yourself from the situation. So there's always something, and most of our experience of life, just in general, is really our judgment of what we think it should be or shouldn't be, or what we want it to be or not want it to be. So we are judging it in one or other shape or form instead of just letting it be. Because if we let it be, we can find that, hey, the sun is still shining. I didn't die. Nothing really, really bad happened. And even if something really, really bad happened and I accept that that is just what it is, I can now figure out a way out of it instead of lamenting about the fact that it happened and just sitting in it. Something that I read, I think it was from Marshall Goldsmith, I think, was the problem isn't not growing or being stuck. The problem is sitting and doing nothing about it. So don't sit and do nothing about it. Make a plan.
Well said, well stated. And we worry so much about things that might happen, they could be bad for us. But what if we put that energy into thinking about how it could be good for us and how we get a choice every single day when we wake up and we could make something good happen? And today I did something new, which I just want to share because things are not always what they seem, right? Our title. So I went to the gym, my first day back since I got back last night, and the gym where I was away, it's not the same. It's fine, but it wasn't the same. But I took an amazing interval class today, high impact interval training. And then afterwards, I've been wanting to do something that I believe is called the farmer's carry. And you basically pick up a dumbbell in each hand, and then your arms are straight and you walk like a farmer would walk. So you walk for 60 to 90 seconds with the weights. And so I thought to myself, how hard could this actually be? Like, you pick up two weights and essentially you're supposed to, depending on how old you are, and then of course what you're trying to accomplish, and if you're an athlete, et cetera, et cetera. But what I read was for men, it's 100% of your body weight divided into two dumbbells. And then for women, it's 75%. So you can do the numbers and figure out whatever your weight is and 75% of that. And so I approached the dumbbell rack and I thought, I'm going to just grab two 25 pounds, a 25 and a 25. So I picked them up and I thought, okay, not a big deal. But, I have very long nails, but I wear weightlifting gloves. So I picked them up and then I walked across the gym for probably, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes, and no big deal. So I put them back and I noticed how red my face was. And then I waited, I did balancing exercise on one foot for a minute. Then I switched to the other foot. Then I picked them up again and I did the same thing. And I put them back and I was like, wow, I'm actually kind of tired. And I don't know if it was from the workout before that, but the point being, it would seem to be very easy to do. Now I did it and I did it twice, but I really probably should be doing 35 pounds or 40 pounds. You figure if you weigh 120, let's say I weigh 125, 130, right? So you'd have to be doing, 130. So you'd have to be doing 40 would be 8. Like, it's a lot of weights. It's a lot of weight to carry around. So things are not always what they seem. Something that would seem to be very easy to do is going to be challenging. And so it's partly to determine your grip strength as you get older. And I guess that's very important. And so there are a lot of things that we can be doing to help ourselves, but it takes work. So when it looks like it's that easy to do, to get into shape, or you just take supplements, or you just walk for an hour, no, that's not the case. There are a lot of things that go into actually being healthy and following a lifestyle for longevity.
And that goes to things aren't always what they seem. Right.
That's right.
We look at these people on social media, on TV, on wherever. You choose the place, right? The beach, when you went to the beach the last time. And you see them and they look fit and they look healthy, and it doesn't come by not following a very strict, in some cases more so than others, regime of some sort. Right? They have a lifestyle that they are living that enable them to be that way. And when we think about doing it, and we're going from a place where we might not have exercised since school, we have put on all sorts of unnecessary weight, we are not as young as we used to be, whatever the case might be, we cannot expect our bodies to just jump back like that without a problem. Not possible. You're gonna strain something, right? So please don't. And as much as it is for the body not a possibility, it's also not for anything else. I mean, nothing we try out. Me and Dr. JACALYN spoke about my venture on watercolors, and I am starting out learning how it works and the different techniques to use, and looking at things in different ways, how shadow falls on different subjects and where the sun comes from, and all sorts of things. Now, even when I have the physical knowledge of all of this, will I be able to reproduce them in a way where it actually makes sense? Most probably not. It's going to take me a while to understand the medium, to understand how it works. I've painted a bit in oils. That's really easy. But watercolors is sort of the opposite way that you need to think about constructing it, right? So with watercolors, you do your lighters things first, and then you build up on that. Whereas with oils, you do it the other way around. And it's going to take me time to learn and to get better at it and to build the skill. And most of what we do, whether it is emotional intelligence, whether it's listening skills, whether it is relationship building, networking, you name the thing, right? It really doesn't matter what the thing is. All of it is a skill that we are learning slowly but surely, in some cases more slow than sure. And the more awareness we create for ourselves and the more we learn about the thing, the better we get at it. And judging our own progress, and this comes back to the judging, right? It is what it is for right now. It doesn't mean that it needs to stay that way. It can change. We have choice, so we can change it. And accepting that this is where I am. I am not necessarily the bodybuilding body that I see on the poster that's inspiring me yet. I'm working towards it. I'm putting stuff in place that can help me get there. I am not Picasso. I'm not. But I am, well, I'm not sure whether I'm working towards Picasso, but I'm working towards at least being proficient in putting something on a piece of paper that looks pleasing to the eye and have some form of mood, inspiration, emotional attachment to it. So I'm not there yet. As a matter of fact, I personally am very far from it. But we are changing, and we are learning, and we are growing. And that's the thing that's important. That little dot doesn't need to stay a dot. It can change into a little bit of a circle and then grow bigger. And that is our work. Each one of us have our own work that we need to do. And if you feel that you are in that space where your emotions is dragging your nose down, you're only seeing that small little space around you, breathing is a great way to start, to get our head out of the sand. So we are not like ostriches where we put our head in the sand and think that the rest of the world is now gone. And then we can start with that first step, because we don't have to be stuck. What's your thoughts about that, Dr. JACALYN?
I think they're great points. And I think also you're following your passion, that this is a passion project, something that you really want to do. And I think when we express ourselves creatively, it's very healthy for us. And I think it also allows us to find more joy in life. I shared with you in between the two shows today that I have just released a single called Please Listen to What I Say. And just looking at the music video or listening to the music, one would have no idea how much work and effort and a team of people, actually 2 teams of people, one on the recording and one on the video, went into it. And so people will watch or listen and make a quick judgment. And that's how everything is, that we're so used to it. I'd have to say, based on my travels in Europe, it's not the same everywhere, but I don't know how it is in Australia, but in the United States, there's a lot of quick judgments that are made. And I think people make judgments even when they're not asked. They give their opinion about things even when they're not asked. And so we could do it, and we probably already have done a whole show on why people give their opinions when no one's asking for them, because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes in that. And so things are not always what they seem with that either. Just because someone makes some kind of comment, there's something behind the scenes. And we were talking on an earlier show today about the 5 or 7 whys to get to what the real answer is. When someone says something or they're bringing something up, there might be something else that's under the surface. And so you have to actually peel back the onion, so to speak, to find out what is the actual cause of their upsetment or their happiness. People are not always forthcoming because they don't even know themselves what's going on.
Well, I am very familiar with the 5 or 7 whys. Especially within risk assessment work, and it is to get to the root cause, right? We need to get to the root. What's that root cause? What's causing the thing? And a lot of the times when people ask the whys, they think that they thought about what caused it, but they also need to be very factual about what is it actually that is happening. Because we might think, oh yeah, I asked, why did this person behave this way? And then I might say, well, because they had a bad day. Do I know that for a fact? Do I know that they had a bad day? I don't. So I might need to ask them, what happened? What caused this outburst? It might be something that was bottled up for a long time. I don't know, because I didn't ask the question. So when we do our root cause analyses, we also need to make sure that when we ask that question, why, and whatever the answer is that comes back, is actually grounded in fact. So if you have any unclarity of whether that answer is actually a fact, go and find out, because your answer might not quite be the right answer, which means you might be steering yourself down a cliff and not get to the root cause of what is actually happening. So it is a very good technique. And Dr. JACALYN, I just thought about a good technique that can be leading people astray if not used correctly. So again, not always what it seems.
Very, very true. And what I'd like to have our audience take away from this is we all can look at our own behavior, right? We're not judge and jury here. We're just having conversation based on coaching, right? Our coaching experience that we have, and also our own personal and educational experience. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, how happy am I with my life? And when you look in the mirror and you see yourself, recognize you are your best coach. You're your best coach. Your intuition shows up and tells you if something seems off or if it seems feeling good, it feels right. And we don't need to go to other people and constantly get approval from someone else, because as many people who say yes, there's as many people or more who say no. So looking in the mirror and saying, I'm my best coach, I know what's best for me, and working with other coaches, having a team of people. Mariska, you've been a coach for me for years. So, referring to other people who you respect and saying, okay, I just want to bounce something off with you. What do you think of this? As opposed to, I see this all the time and people are just asking for it. They put something on social media and they'll say, what do you think of this? Well, what do you think people are going to say? There's so many haters out there. You're going to get haters coming in. And so if you're looking for approval, you may not get it. You may get the exact opposite because of the population of people who decided to respond, which might not have anything to do with the fact that they are in support of one thing or another. They might just be filled with anger and hate and they just want to vent, and they decided to do it on your post.
Yeah. It also reminds me of whatever feedback it is that you get, right? Make sure that you look for the patterns. So whenever you get feedback, any type of feedback, look for the patterns, because the patterns will show you the thing that you need to focus on. And as Dr. JACALYN mentioned, be aware of the environment, the ecosystem in which you see the patterns, right? If I'm doing this on social media and I have a whole bunch of trolls following me, of course the pattern is going to be different than when I have a whole bunch of people following me that actually has my best interest in mind. So understanding where you are taking your sample, you can think about this as in the physical world, right? You might have two streams. You have one stream that goes past industrial area, and you have another stream that goes past all sorts of fields and trees and all sorts of things. If I'm going to take a sample of the water, even though the spring might be the same, that goes past the industrial space, and I take another sample of water of the area that goes past the fields and the trees, that water samples will be so different, because of the environment that the water has now been exposed to. And that's exactly the same with you. When you take your samples, right, the patterns is the sample. So when you take your samples, also be aware of what's the environment in which I took them, because that will influence and impact the type of sample you get back. And is that the feedback that you are looking for? And is that the place where you need to grow? Or maybe it might not be. What is your strengths? What's the things that you bring to the table that you might want to focus on a bit more, rather than going, oh yeah, but I need to fix this thing or that thing. So There's so much when we look at feedback, and things might not always be what they seem because we forget about the parameters that's been set when we get them. And Dr. JACALYN, I don't know, within the judgment space, what have you found, especially when it comes to feedback?
I think what you just shared is spot on. The only thing I really could add to that is I know for myself, as I've gotten older, I'm not looking for approval anymore. I don't know, I've set up major boundaries because I feel like it's some stage of life, we've earned the right to make our own decisions and not have to get audience approval. And it's not about being popular. It's not about having everyone like us. And I think when you are at that stage in your life where you accept that, you really have arrived. And I think there's a lot of peace knowing that not everyone will like you, not everyone will want to have something to do with you, and people will gossip, and that's on them. It goes back to let them. So in terms of the judgment, I basically have found those 3 questions. Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? And so I've worked really hard to not be judgmental, but instead to have boundaries and say, okay, that's not working for me. I'm not going to judge you, but I don't need to have you in my life, or I don't need to have this conversation with you. And there's a lot more peace. That's what I'm always after, is finding inner peace.
Yeah. And to your point of being okay with ourselves, that's that little dot. We need to do that inner work. We need to be okay with us and not worry about what the other people. I mean, yes, we will still have an impact on other people, and we want to worry about that because it's our impact on others, right? And how we show up for that impact. And they have a choice as to what they want to do with it. And then just let them.
Let them. Mel Robbins. Thank you, Mel. So we're actually at the end of our show. Our next show is coming up soon, and that's my show, Let's Finally Talk. But we are going to close out with the music video is talking about. But before we do that, I'd love to have you share what is the best way for people to get in touch with you. We have your LinkedIn and we have your website. And who is it that you can help? There are people out there all over the world. They may just be tuning in. So if you can just tell them, hey, if you're this, or this, I can help you, and here's how I do it.
So if you are a leader starting up on your leadership journey, might be new to that, or you are already within leadership and you are moving up, as well as anybody with a team. If you have a team and you need to work on your team dynamics, you can get hold of me either via my LinkedIn, which you will see there on the screen. LinkedIn, Mariska Dupree, and if we are, I think, 3 people removed, then it would just be Mariska DU, and the PREEZ missing. So that's me on LinkedIn, and you can DM me on that space and we can start our conversation. Alternatively, you can also find me on my website. So my website is journey2discover.com, and there is a contact me form that you can fill in, or you can also reach out to me via my email, which is Mariska, MARISKA, at journey2, again, the number 2, discover.com. So that's how you get hold of me and who to get hold of me. And if you have your visuals up, you can see it down below or up above, depending on which device you are using, with all the other contact information.
Thank you very much, Mariska. It's been an absolute pleasure. It was good to see you. Good to be back. And we are going to close out now. This is a music video where I am the lead singer. And in the chorus, I am joined by the beautiful Dr. Madeline Chan, whose stage name is Maddie Loveday. So it's called Please Listen to What I Say. And you can purchase this, download it at Apple iTunes, at Spotify, Amazon Music, anywhere where fine music is available for download. So let's take a look.
the stage. The world's got some good seats, but nobody stays. They get their opinions. I've got mine too. So, darling, please listen to what I say. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now.
Well, there you have it. Please listen to what I say. Any thoughts, Mariska?
Finally, the Dr. JACALYN, the theme song.
And again, things are not always what they seem. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of people. It took some money. But please do go to Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and download Please Listen to What I Say by Dr. JACALYN. I would really appreciate it. Well, Dr. JACALYN will be back momentarily, probably in about 5 minutes for Let's Finally Talk. Mariska, we are out and about for now. I look forward to seeing you next week when we'll be back for our next episode.
Well, enjoy the next one after this, and see you guys soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.